दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
See, viewers, the success of Operation Sindoor has established India on the map as a military superpower. But at the end of the day, two things are linked: economic power and military power. And there are people who believe that one of the reasons India has been targeted is because we are going to a point where we will become a threat to other countries. They are not going to have a romantic or interested or investor view of India anymore. For America and China, we are future competitors. When any country faces a crisis like this, the industry has to come together. And I have put together a panel this evening of absolutely the very best of three voices from Indian industry. But before that, let me go to a quick news report. And then I have three fantastic gentlemen joining us in 2 minutes.
सेना का नुकसान करने की थी तैयारी, हमने उनसे सीने पर चढ़ कर दिखा दिया कि हमारे वीरों की कैसी है तैयारी।
India's industrial sector once again emerged as a pivotal sector that empowered India's Operation Sindoor unlike never before. From impregnable defense in the skies,
the highlight has been the stellar performance of the indigenous air defense weapon system like the Akash system. That putting together and operationalization of this potent AD environment has been possible over the last decade due to unwavering budgetary and policy support provided by the Government of India in acquiring state-of-the-art equipment and weapon systems.
To raining fire beyond the horizon.
साथियों, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने यह स्पष्ट संदेश दे दिया है कि हमने शांति के लिए जितना अपना दिल खोल कर रखा है, शांति को नष्ट करने वालों के विरुद्ध उतना ही अपना हाथ भी खोल कर रखा है। एक और बात मैं यहाँ साफ कहना चाहूँगा कि ऑपरेशन सिंदूर अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है। जो कुछ भी हुआ वह सिर्फ एक ट्रेलर मात्र था। जब भी सही समय आएगा तो हम पूरी पिक्चर भी दुनिया को दिखाएंगे।
India's indigenous systems have been our pride during Operation Sindoor.
We were able to make a missile system in the country, first time, fully made in India, no foreign collaboration, nothing imported. Indian boys, Indian girls, Indian companies, Indian academic institutions who gave us new science, we made it. So what integrated all of us is that Indian.
Today I am happy to inform that at least 10 satellites are continuously working, 24/7 working for the strategic purpose to ensure safety and security of the citizens of this country.
It's not just in defense manufacturing, but India's commerce sector is also standing in solidarity with the nation after Operation Sindoor through multiple endeavors.
तुर्की और अजरबैजान ने जिस तरीके से पाकिस्तान का समर्थन किया, उससे पूरे देश के व्यापार और उद्योग में बहुत रोष और आक्रोश है कि जो देश भारत के साथ में नहीं खड़ा, जो पाकिस्तान के साथ में खड़ा है, उसके साथ भारत के व्यापारी कोई कारोबार नहीं करेंगे। और न केवल कारोबार बल्कि उस देश की यात्राएं भी हम स्थगित कर रहे हैं। जो भारत का नहीं, वो भारत के व्यापारियों का नहीं।
The Confederation of All India Traders is now calling for an end of all trade with Turkey and Azerbaijan.
आज फेडरेशन की ओर से, सभी ट्रेड एसोसिएशंस की ओर से जो बॉयकॉट का कॉल दिया गया है, वो भारत के उन वीर सपूतों के समर्थन में है, उन वीर नारियों के समर्थन में है जो देश की सरहद को सुरक्षित रखते हैं।
India is also urging the world to denounce Pakistan-sponsored terrorism.
आज के समय में पाकिस्तान को किसी भी तरह की आर्थिक सहायता टेरर फंडिंग से कम नहीं है। भारत यही चाहेगा कि IMF पाकिस्तान को अपनी $1 बिलियन की असिस्टेंस पर वह पुनर्विचार करे। और आगे भी किसी भी तरह की सहायता देने से IMF परहेज करे।
The consensus in the world is clear. India is emerging as a military superpower.
भारत ने अब 3 सूत्र तय कर दिए हैं। पहला, भारत पर आतंकी हमला हुआ तो हम अपने तरीके से, अपनी शर्तों पर, अपने समय पर जवाब देंगे। दूसरा, कोई भी न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल भारत नहीं सहेगा। तीसरा, हम आतंक की सरपरस्त सरकार और आतंक के आकाओं को अलग अलग नहीं देखेंगे।
But the big question remains, what role can India's industry play in boosting India's rise? And how does the Indian industry see the success of Operation Sindoor?
Mr. Baba Kalyani is Chairman and Managing Director of Bharat Forge, ladies and gentlemen. And Bharat Forge is a flagship company. It plays a very important role in all key sectors, including engineering, metallurgy, manufacturing, defense. R. Mukundan is Managing Director and CEO of Tata Chemicals, and he is also the Vice President of the CII. And my first question is to Sanjeev Puri, who besides being the Chairman and Managing Director of the FMCG giant ITC, is also the President of the CII. Thank you, gentlemen. You are all the distinguished leaders of Indian business. It's a privilege to be with you. Mr. Puri, no industry and no business nowadays can happen in the absence of some link with India's geostrategic pursuit, what we want to be as a nation. And as we become a rising power, naturally, global dynamics will play a role in shaping Indian industry, guiding, and also sometimes limiting. Like we've seen the Turkey situation, where industry is pulling back on its own. So I want to just give a broad question to you to start with. How do you view the role of Indian industry to strengthen the hands of the country at a time when we are in for what will be a protracted conflict, as Rajnath Singh has indicated today?
Thank you. Thank you, Arnab, for having us on the program. Let me start first by, congratulating the Honorable Prime Minister for his very swift, decisive, and impactful action, and doing it in a way that demonstrates India as as a responsible global leader. The actions are very targeted, measured. It was targeted to really eradicate or decimate the launch pads of terrorists or the terrorist training camp. Very targeted and measured. And I think they were very, very effective. Really demonstrated to the world that India has zero tolerance for terror. I think the response to provocations were also very swift and impactful. Again, very measured and targeted, so that the common man was not harmed. And I also like to commend the armed forces for the the dedication, the exemplary manner in which they have executed this whole Operation Sindoor. And I think they have brilliantly handled the communication also, unlike what we saw in on the other side, where people were rushing to the media even before facts were verified or misinformation was being spread. Here they were very systematic coverage, very well verified, and enough evidence was given. And this is something that's been substantiated by independent sources also, that India's strikes were impactful. Now, what came out also was that the indigenous defense systems in India worked very well. They were very effective. They inflicted significant damage, and this is evident from a lot of images. So I think India's defense sector, I think, has transformed over the last several years. And on this is, I think, again, like to congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister, because it was his vision to make in India, to establish a very strong defense industry in India. He had the foresight that this is important for India's, equally important for India's progress, and we have come a long way. I think this is a time when certainly the journey, of course, needs to continue, and we must all rededicate ourselves to building this industry as an even more formidable strength. So that's one clear area where industry can contribute. Secondly, is I think what is important is that, of course, all members of CII and CII recognizes that national priorities come first, national security comes first, everything else is second to it, and we are completely aligned to it. And to support that, I think what we require is a very resilient economy. We require an economy that can, not only grow very at an accelerated pace, an economy that is inclusive, but also an economy that is resilient. And that's been very clearly demonstrated even in the conflict that happened recently. Not much, there's hardly any impact on the industry, barring some disturbances that happened during the specific events that unfolded on 3 days. But otherwise, everything was absolutely, industry was absolutely operational as they were on any other day. So that's the kind of industry we need to build. We need to build supply chains that are more and more resilient, that are more and more make in India, that have lesser interdependencies, particularly from countries that work against India's national interest. And more we make in India, I think our supply chains will become more and more resilient. And equally, with the strength of our own competitiveness, I think India has the potential to become an economic power. It's already the 5th largest economy, nearly going to be or very close to the 4th, and will be the 4th very soon. And it's a consumption-driven economy. Exports is about 12% of our GDP. But I think here is an opportunity, given the strengths of India, given the policy reforms that have happened over several years, that India can emerge as a very strong player, as a global hub for manufacturing. It's already starting to do it in certain sectors. Defense is one remarkable example. From hardly anything, we're talking about 24,000 crores in the last year, and electronics is another interesting sector. But there are many more areas that we can do it, and we have the capacity to do it. On services, we are already a global hub of not only basic services, but value-added design services, and it's continuing to accelerate. So India can really emerge as a global powerhouse of services and manufacturing, leverage its capacity to produce at scale, to produce economically, leverage its demographic dividend, leverage the STEM talent we have.
Yes.
I think these are the other areas that industry can play an important role in building the resilience of the economy.
I'm happy to see the kind of involvement that you have in the national effort here. I also commend CII for committing itself to the national cause. We've seen people from defense, diplomacy, politics speak on Republic last few weeks, but a lot of people are noting this and watching this, Sanjeev, and saying this is good. Industry is putting its money where its mouth is. Now, one person who's been putting his money into this, even when there was been no great business on defense, he's called the Tony Stark. He's 76 years old. He's called the Tony Stark of India. It's Baba Kalyani. He's a legend for anyone in the defense sector. Because you see, viewers, what happens? You need people who are passionate about this. You don't need people who are only in it to make a buck. And Baba Kalyani is passionate. And Baba Kalyani, the thing is, you see, when America went into World War II, who made America win? It was not just the army, it was Ford, Motor Company, others who came in and told the president of the US, we are standing behind you. You need the guns, you need the machines, you need the engines. We won't even manufacture cars if required for a while, but we'll give you what you want to win. My sense is, maybe mine is a layman perspective, you can correct me, Mr. Kalyani, but we need to up our game. It's not good to be so dependent, because these countries, you never know when their diplomatic situation with you changes. France is good with us today. I don't know in the future. Russia is good with you, but Russia has not spoken very much. during this entire period, for or against. The US would be very happy to see Rafale being attacked because they want to sell you their planes, their MMRCs. So what do we need to do more? We can't keep becoming self-congratulatory that we are Atmanirbhar on defense. We are not. So can we up the game? Should we put more money? Should we have bigger defense budget? Should people like you put more money? How should it work, sir?
Well, thanks a lot. I think your comments are absolutely right, on the spot. What is important to understand is Operation Sindoor for the first time has shown that the effectiveness of Indian-made advanced weaponry in the field. We have never had a chance to use Indian-made advanced weaponry in actual conflict situation, and this is the first time we have used it in a conflict situation, and very successfully. So I think that should give everybody a lot of comfort and a lot of sense in terms of doing more. I think we have to recognize that all this can only happen with the right policy perspectives, which is already there. The Honorable Prime Minister's policy on Atmanirbharta and how well executed by the Ministry of Defense, the Honorable Raksha Mantri and his colleagues. But I think most important is that the users, whether it's the Army, Navy, Air Force, they are all working with the industry to develop more and more products. You're right. We are not there yet. We need to do a lot more work. But, this is what we've been able to achieve in about 7-8 years after policy reforms took place in about 2016-17. So I think it's been a great achievement in the 7-8 years. We have gone from conventional kinetic weaponry to technology-driven weaponry. A lot of these things are now made within the country. We are exporting a lot of products. We are our company is one of the largest exporters of defense products from India into Europe. And but we have a long way to go. We have to develop our own aero engines for the fighter jets. We have to develop our own precision control guidance systems. But I think this will all happen. This will all happen very rapidly. It's not going to take us 15 more years to make this happen. I think, and the private sector gets involved along with the government, along with the public sector. There is a lot that comes on the table. A lot of talent comes on the table. A lot of quick decision making, and all of us are investing a lot of money in R&D, a lot of money in technology development. I mean, even in our little company, we have got almost 500 people working in developing technology in this area, in many different fields. So we are all working, and we are only doing it because we want India to become strong. Of course, we have to make sure that the business works, but I think that is second priority. First is the country needs to become strong. When we started our artillery program almost 11 years ago, we had no orders, nothing. And we spent a lot of money trying to develop our own artillery guns. And today we are exporting our artillery guns. Last year we exported more than 100 artillery guns into Europe of 2 different models. So I think we are getting there. We are getting there at a very good pace. We're getting a lot of help from the government. We're getting a lot of help from the users. And I think a situation like this also kind of proves what our technology can do and how it works. So I'm very confident that we will move in the right direction very soon.
Sir, I was so upset, Baba Kalyani ji, when I felt that America was pulling back the delivery of its engines, for Tejas. You obviously know about it better. But when will we not, no country should have that leverage on us. No? I mean, we should always have a domestic option to everything. Layman question, if we can build the best rockets, why can't we make fighter engines of that scale and quality?
Of course, we can make fighter engines. There's nothing very complicated about it. It's a complex system, yes. It's a lot of engineering.
Would Baba Kalyani be moving in that direction with others? Would the Tata Group get into it? You see, we'll feel more able because this requires big capex investment. Only the big guys can do it.
I think, we have to form a consortium of 3-4 companies and make this happen. We have to take it as a national project and make this happen. This is not something that just can be done by one company or the other. Even anywhere in the world, this has always been a group of companies coming together and making things happen, especially in fighter jet engines and products like that.
Important point. You know, this can't happen with domestic competition. It's a national interest project.
Yes.
Mr. Mukundan, Baba Kalyani, why do I have a feeling you know a lot more than you're revealing tonight? You know, I have this feeling, Sanjeev, you know, all I've learned in my years of journalism, read the person's body language. I have a feeling you guys know a lot more. It's good if you don't tell us, it's good. But I am getting a sense that the people on the screen, they're willing to put their skin in the game. I mean, this is
we are all doing it, and you know, I can't tell you all the details because a lot of these things we are prohibited from talking in the system. But I can assure you that there's a lot of work going on in every industry, in every large company, and everybody who's involved.
That's very good to hear. So one question, Mr. Mukundan, which is on people's minds is, people have come together. I just did a huge program here in my Republic campus called the Nationalist Collective. And I can tell you, there was such high viewership because the sense of nationalism is so overwhelming. People are talking about both discipline and sacrifice and balidan. Now, is industry at any point nervous? You see, because conflicts can impact business. We are told that Trump uses trade for diplomacy, but I actually believe he trades diplomacy for trade. You know, he's not doing, everything he's doing is for trade. And he's trading diplomacy in that effort. Otherwise, he would have not met the Syrian leader day before yesterday in Saudi Arabia. Straight question to you, Mr. Mukundan. Is industry nervous about the economic or business ramifications of India being in a conflict situation?
So, firstly, Arnab, thank you very much for having us on the show. And also, I just want to join Sanjeev and Baba Kalyani in complimenting the government for this swift and decisive action. Let me just say, at CII, a couple of days after Pahalgam, we had a meeting in Bangalore. There was a spontaneous outpouring of grief and shock at what had happened in Pahalgam. And I think our fight right now is not fight for anything beyond achieving ultimate peace. I think we are all fighting a war towards peace, and I think that must be recognized. And it's a just case. And clearly, I think if you really look at economic development really happens when there is continuous peace over a long period of time. And if few days of unease is there to achieve that ultimate peace, I think we are all willing to walk together. I've seen this industry come together as never before, uniting behind the government, uniting behind our nation to make sure that our resolve that we will not tolerate terror on us. We will want to give it a befitting reply. And this is a kind of a position which our country must take, especially because at the end of the day, we can't have hapless citizens losing their life. And I think we need to protect ourselves. I think first state of any nation in rising up as a nation is to protect its own citizens. So we've done the right thing. And I think the other thing which government has also done is it has gone about the whole process in a very transparent manner. It has not done this in a unplanned way. There was a whole series of set of actions which were planned. Industry was informed well in time. We were told what steps to be taken. In fact, my plant is very close to the border, 80 kilometers as crow flies from Karachi. We were actually given all the protocols, what we need to do. And we went about our business in a very, very steady and very regular manner. In fact, everything worked for us, even right through the blackout, right through the period. Our plant kept producing. We kept shipping our products to our customers, and we didn't miss a heartbeat here. So I think I must also say that the way we were kept in the loop, the way we were taken into confidence, the way the actions were communicated, I think that goes to a long way to compliment the government on this. And I think coming out of it, all of us can feel proud that we will now be able to hold our head high and also export, also engage with the external world with a sense of confidence. So really, this was a must-do action to get peace. This is not an action for anything other than that. So I think it's a very positive action in my view.
Well, Mr. Mukundan, this is very reassuring. Baba Kalyani, I'm sure that you're going to play a critical role, and Sanjeev Puri heading CII. Thank you for giving us that sense of assurance. I'm sure this conversation will be very, very useful for people tracking, and it's rare for industry to speak up. I'm glad you spoke up. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that panel was from CII. We thank them for that.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सब जल जीरा मसाला